Hello everyone, welcome back again with the new video. In the last video, we have seen how this encryption, decryption and the hashing works. How we are going to utilize that part we will see in this video. But yeah, so we were talking about the identity. So identity, we are using this PKI, public key infrastructure. This is the most important thing I would say. It's not only on the fabric, but it's general concept. It's having the digital certificate, public key, private key, certificate authority, and CRL. That is a certificate revocation list. We just saw public and the private key. There are multiple algorithms, but RSA is one of them we will be using. I mean, internally it is getting used. We don't need to do anything. But yeah, there is a relation between this public and the private key. And the if one key is getting used for encryption, other key can be used for the decryption. Let's go to the digital certificate now. Okay, this certificate is just nothing but identity, and it is just a general purpose X509 standard certificate. How we can get the certificate? First of all, in the PKI we talk about the certificate authority, and initially one of the component was in the hyperledger fabric is the certificate authority. Each organization will have their own CA instances, certificate authority services we can say, because they do not trust on each other, right? So that's why they will have their own certificate authority instances. So all the participant within the organization, they will get the certificate from this certificate authority itself. In document management, we have two organization and one order organization. So each organization have their own certificate authority, so they can get the certificate for all the participant in their own organization from this certificate authority. Now, what is the procedure to get the certificate? First of all, how this certificate authority works? Certificate authority is one authority which used for distributing the certificate. First of all, I will just explain how this X509 certificate get created. You can see on the screen, whenever I wanted the certificate, let's consider I am a user of organization one and I want a certificate. How I will get it? First thing is, admin user of the organization will register me on the certificate authority. So he will say like, this is the user ID, and allow him to get the certificate. So he will just register the username. Now after that, when actually user initiate the enrollment, so during the enrollment he create a certificate signing request, that is the CSR, and he includes the secret received during the registration process by admin. He will just initiate the CSR, and when the certificate authority get the request, he will just put this data information at the top of the certificate, ID information, his public key, and CA information. In actual case, when I as a user, I will initiate the CSR. So in that case, I will create my own public key and the private key. I will include only public key inside the CSR and give a request to the certificate authority. Certificate authority, first of all, get the information from the top and create a hash of this information. So once we get a hash, I mean, the certificate authority does everything. We don't need to do anything. When we get a hash, he encrypt the hash with his own private key and put it as a digital signature at the bottom of the certificate. That's it. This is the certificate created for the new user. Now, anyone with this certificate, how we can verify? I just got the certificate. I am saying this is the original certificate. But how I can claim that, or anyone, how they can verify it? So they can again get the certificate. So if I'm giving someone else to prove it, so what they can do, they can just get the information from the top, create a hash. Okay, here. Another one thing, digital signature, how we created, certificate authority created the hash of this information and encrypted with the private key. Okay, this hash. Now, anyone have this certificate authority, anyone having this certificate, they can just create a hash of the information, and at the digital signature, they can decrypt with the public key of the certificate authority, which is available here itself in the certificate. And if these both hashes are equal, it means certificate has not been tampered yet. And if we trust certificate authority itself, then we can say this is the valid certificate. Okay, this is the same validation will happen everywhere. So in the browser itself, I will show you just a moment. When we are talking about the secure communication here, connection is secure. How we are claiming this connection is secure? This browser is claiming connection is secure and it's showing certificate is valid. Certificate, I mean, this browser itself have the certificate authority list where he can trust. So in the certificate, we can see this is a lot of information issued to whom it is issued. This is wildcardgoogle.com. Issued by GTS CA 13. I mean, this is the certificate authority information, and this authority will be available in the browser as well, because browser trusts some of the major certificate authority, and certificate is issued by those certificate authority. They can initiate secure communication. Validity of the period. So every certificate have some sort of validity, 1 year by default, issued on and expired on. And at the bottom, we have the digital signature. This is the thing I was talking about. So it's a general concept. So make sure you understand these things. Now, when we're talking about the secure communication, how it happens. So let's try to understand the TLS communication. Its communication is happening through this concept only, this TLS communication. Let me explain that now. Okay, so when we hit any any domain, google.com, let's consider this TLS communication. So first, browser initiate acknowledgement signal to the server. Server again acknowledge with the same message and send his own certificate to the client. The client is the browser in our case, and server is the actual server, google.com. So once the handshake happens, when server send acknowledgement signal, that is hello message. So this browser verify his certificate, because this browser have valid certificate authority list in his browser list. I mean, in his one of the list actually, and he can validate the certificate whether this certificate is valid or not. If it is valid and given by a valid certificate authority, then what browser does? He just exchange one random key. He generally create one random key, that is a symmetric key, and send in the same request to the server. Again, this is not the plain text. He will just encrypt this data with the public key available inside the certificate. In the certificate itself, we will have the public key of the server. So using the public key, he will encrypt the data with this key exchange I'm talking about and send to the server. Server again confirm that. So now only browser and the server have this randomly key generated with them. Now whatever the communication is going to happen after that, they will encrypt communication with that randomly generated key. That is a symmetric encryption. So server will encrypt with that symmetric key, and browser also can decrypt that with randomly generated key. That is a symmetric encryption. We already had a discussion. So there is a one-way communication and two-way communication. If client also wanted, this server wanted to validate client as well. So in that case, there is a two-way dual TLS, we can say. Two-way, server also validating client also validating server. So same thing will happen. Client will send his own certificate and the same thing will happen. Okay. So in this way, this TLS communication is going to happen. Another one thing, in the hyperledger fabric, this is the distributed system. So lot of services are there, and these services will be communicating with each other using this TLS communication itself. In the browser itself, the same thing is happening. From one point to other point, this communication is happening through the secured manner using these keys. Important concept in the hyperledger fabric. So make sure you understand these things. That's it for this video. Thank you so much.